Hey everybody, welcome to DIY the Show. My name is Andrew Lowry. DIY the Show is a public act show. We talk about DIY ethics, morals, ideas, and how they relate to your real, actual life. So each week, me, Andrew Lowry, I sit down with a couple of guests, and we talk about why they choose to do it themselves and why it's better than everything else. So without further ado, I want to welcome you all to DIY!
It's time for DIY.
Hey everybody, my name is Andrew Lowry. Welcome to DIY. I want to thank you all for tuning in live. If you're watching right now, it's snowing here in Boston. It's a beautiful, beautiful snowy day. I love the snow here, and snow got me thinking about something that relates to the show. So something I love about Boston and New England in general is when it snows, we still get out there and go do stuff. So we're always talking about persevering, pushing through the bad times, and just keep on trying here. And so snow is a perfect metaphor for that. It snows, you still got to shovel, you still got to go get food. I'm still doing a public access show. We're here live for you. You're in your bed, drinking hot cocoa. I love it. I'm glad you're doing it. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about today. Snow is really just a great thing, and part of the reason I feel like I am such a doer, you know what I mean? And
Same here.
Same to Carbia. So if you're watching from bed right now, drinking hot cocoa, let us know what your snow day is like in the YouTube comments. And so each week on the show, I like to talk about the topic off the top. And so what we're talking about this week is solo musicianship. And what that kind of means, you know, it's pretty obvious, being a solo musician, being a songwriter, being a singer, all that stuff. But I really want to explore for my non-musician viewers out there, a lot of this advice will apply to you as well, because whether you're doing art, you're making a film, you're even an entrepreneur trying to build your own thing, you're going to need some of these skills when it comes to doing it yourself.
Like yours truly.
So, like yours truly, Carbia back there, the video game master.
And multi-ton extraordinaire.
Exactly. So when you're out there and you're doing it yourself and you're trying to do it by yourself, it gets really hard, and so I really wanted to explore some advice for all of you viewers out there, and I got a bunch of great guests. We got some great music for the show today. It's going to be a really fun one, so I'm very excited to be here with you. But before all of that, I want to go to a quick video. A friend of mine, Liz Victory, she's out of Pittsburgh, and she made a video for us giving us 4 steps to solo musician success. So we're going to go to that clip, and when we come back, I got my guest sitting next to me. So you're watching DIY here on the internet. Yeah.
Hello folks at DIY. I'm Liz Victory, songwriter and solo performer based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and these are my steps to solo artistry. Step 1. Do it. My personal motto is choose bravery. I was terrified when I started doing solo work. Now it's my favorite thing to do. It's my bread and butter. Step 2, tell people you're doing it. People can't come to your shows if they don't even know it's happening. Social media is your friend. Step 3, go to open mics, hone your craft and your people skills, get stage time, and meet colleagues. Step 4, hit the road. You're compact. You're one person. You can go anywhere. All you have to do is send an email. Big thanks to DIY. Check out my podcast every Thursday morning, 10 to 11 a.m., that broadcast. Remember to choose bravery.
It's time for DIY. Hey everybody, we're back here on DIY the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I'm sitting here hanging out with some guests. Before we get into you guys, sorry, I know you've been waiting patiently. I really appreciate it. No, don't even try to talk. I like to check in with my house band, so I got Chris O'Grady behind me. He's our new band leader, solo musician. He's solo, perfectly enough. So Chris, what's been going on with you? What's solo life? How's it? How you living, bro?
All cops are bastards.
Fair. All right, so that's what Chris is thinking about today. So cops are bastards. I agree.
So's the
what about
government.
Solo musicianship? We're talking about being a solo musician. You yourself dabble in that. Any advice you have?
I do. I mean, I'm not a solo musician. I'm in a band right now, and
But
I'm
you've
happy
played
about
solo.
that. Which isn't to like say I do play solo. And I'm glad that I don't have to anymore because it's much harder. And I like if you can pull it off, then I really respect you, because like it's just like when you add more members to what you're doing, it makes it easier by a factor of however many members you've added. So like
You can divvy up the work.
yeah, and
But
you're
we're not
that much
talking about
louder, and
how
really
it's-
like being good at music is like 90% just being loud.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, I mean, what do you want me to say?
Nothing. I don't want you to say anything, but I'm just saying, we're here on the show talking about why it's cool being a solo musician. You're talking about just get a band and like,
I mean,
Forming one.
I gotta be a little real. I mean, it's
Do you,
it's
Chris?
okay.
It's
Pros.
okay.
It's more versatile. You can fit in a lot more situations.
You can cartwheel.
You can just like do it whenever you want. You don't need a big setup. And it can be really, really powerful and intimate, like just like one person communicating with a group. It was really cool.
Nice.
And just like, well, I've still got this platform here. I want
totally.
to shout
Yeah,
out a couple of my solo musician friends. This person out of Brooklyn, New York, called Brooke Pridemore is great. You should check them out. Also out of Brooklyn. Wait, no, shit, he's out of Baltimore. Matt Pless is really cool. And I'm not just listing people that my band did noise complaint videos with.
Hey, just go check those people out. I've known Brooke Pridemore. He knew people in Connecticut when I first started
Megan
doing
Casey.
live shows.
Check out Megan Casey.
Megan
We haven't done a
Casey.
video with
Check
her
them
yet.
all
We're gonna do
out.
a video with her.
So thanks, Chris, for being here. You're going to be hanging out and back, playing
Oh,
guitar
little
for us
musket.
all day long. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So either way, we're here on the show. We're talking about being a solo musician. I got a bunch of guests here on the show. We got some friggin' guests. I want to introduce them. So it's snowing out, so of course it's snowing. And a couple people had to leave. We had promoted Jake McKelvey and Zach Silk being on here. Unfortunately, due to snow, they couldn't make it. But luckily
Tough
enough,
rocks.
our live performers got to come on, and they're going to hang out and talk with us as well. So we'll go down the line a little bit and just kind of introduce each other and talk about what's something you do. So first up, you are probably the one who just jumped into this
Oh yeah.
not knowing anything.
Yeah, no,
So tell us your name and a little bit about what you do.
I'm Dan, Dan Lay, and I play the viola.
Viola. Let's hear it for Dan, everybody.
Danny boy, Danny boy.
So how long have you been playing the viola?
Since I was 8, so
Wow.
Like 4 years.
yeah.
Longer than
Been about, yeah. No, it's probably like 16.
16. Very
Wait,
nice.
Yeah, that's 24, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about there. So you play viola. So solo musicianship.
Yes.
Now, as a viola player, you've been playing since 8, so I assume you're a little bit classically trained.
Oh yeah, totally.
So have you ever done, so for me, when I think of solo musician, I'm always like, oh, it's me in a guitar on a stage with a microphone. Have you ever done like a classy gala and
Oh,
been
yeah.
like, so what's that like? What's it like being a solo performer in a fancy
Oh
environment?
my god, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only think there was probably one time where nerves didn't take over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Do you get a bunch of free wine and cheese though?
Oh my god, yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's all
Because
about the
being
cheese.
solo, I find any show you play, the more you can get out, you become like a raccoon. You're just like,
Yeah.
whatever I can get, whatever I can scrounge up,
Yeah,
like I'll take
going
it.
through the trash
Yeah,
and-
man.
yeah.
I've done that at a house show.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Depends on what's in the trash.
There you go. There you go. Exactly. Well, I'm
Well,
really
that's
glad to
right.
have you, Dan. Thank you so
Thanks.
much for doing this last segment, being
Yeah.
crazy here. Next to you, we have in the middle. You're in the middle, sir. Uh-oh.
I'm Noah Britton. I'm in a band called Request Freebird that's sometimes just me, and sometimes me and like up to and including 4 people. And I've been playing solo for too long.
Too long. Let's hear it for Noah, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
I don't need Bill Lark either.
I've been playing solo longer than you've been alive.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Seriously?
So Noah, are you pulling the old punk card right now? Is that what we're doing right now? Is that
You mean where I'm begging you for spange?
or pizza, whatever?
No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm doing the someone passed me away. I'm too old. I'm a drain on the financial resources of this country. I shouldn't be alive anymore.
Oh no! You're exactly. I love it. I love it. You're perfect guest. This is exactly the kind of attitude we love here on DIY. Cynical despair. That's what we're all about here on the show.
Story
All about it.
Branding.
Branding, exactly. But Noah, so
Yes.
you play solo. Do you enjoy it? Is it like Chris was saying before? it is kind of a lot being alone all the time. Now you're saying you're a
Well,
plight on society.
Here's the nice thing
Yeah.
about being solo is
Okay.
you don't have to split up the money. So, it's better to be Bob Dylan than the Beatles. So,
That's true.
You get to keep all of the free sandwich.
Yeah.
You don't have to share it with anybody. You get all of your cab fare. You don't have to share it with someone else who took a different cab. That's nice.
You get all the drink tickets.
But come on, drinking, that's for the youth. You're over 21 and you still drink, you're an alcoholic. The main thing I have to say for solo musicians is the same advice I have for anyone in the music business, which is quit. To quote the great late Cliff Burton.
Okay.
God rest his soul.
Quit, and if you can't quit, well, then you're stuck with being a musician, and that's what happened to me.
Well, Noah, I'm totally picking up what you're putting down. I love that. That's awesome. So I think we're kind of getting a full spectrum so far. So Dan, you're a little more positive.
How
And-
so?
It's a snowy day.
That's
Come on.
not wrong.
Yeah.
But so I'd be remiss. So last on the couch we got.
Dori Cameron.
Let's hear it for Dori, everybody. Dori.
Madam Cameron.
So Dori, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you've been playing solo?
Oh, okay. So I am originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I started out my solo acoustic singing and performing career there.
Nice.
And I moved to Boston last summer. And this New Year's Eve will be my 2-year anniversary of actually performing shows.
Wow.
So I've been playing for
Oh
a
my.
little less than, it'll be 3 years come March.
So that's great. We kind of got a full, Noah's got all the experience here.
Does it feel like prison yet?
No, it
Not
doesn't.
yet. Okay.
It feels like I'm a
Stick
free
with
bird.
it.
It feels
Stick
like I'm a
with it.
free bird.
Stick with it.
Yes, exactly. So
day.
we're talking about being solo. We're talking about playing by yourselves. One of the things that starting out is crazy is your first shows. So Dan, what's maybe one of your first performance experiences?
It's definitely a church gig.
Nice.
Yeah, and I used to play by myself, and then my little brother would come and play with me too.
See, I feel like at least there people are polite.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
won't say you suck.
Yeah.
They'll. Yeah.
Did you suck? I'm sure you were good.
I was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any weird things happen at the church while you're performing?
I mean, we would fool around up there because there's nothing to do between prayers.
Yeah. And you got the big church organ. I always
yeah.
love me a church
Yeah.
organ. That's cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Noah? What were some of your first shows like?
Do you mean clothed?
Clothed. Yes.
So then we'll have to go to where I was a bit older.
Okay.
So the first time I sang a show was also at a party.
Mm-hmm.
We covered Sweet Dreams, the Marilyn Manson version.
Sick.
And the band I don't know whose birthday it was. I think it was someone in this band, but their singer was walking around. They sucked.
Yeah.
They were terrible. Even for like 14-year-olds, I knew that. And while I was screaming Sweet Dreams, I guess I like blew out the singer's ears, and she was like, "Oh man, this is terrible. This is a disaster." And I was like, "I did it."
Well, I mean,
It
for
wasn't,
you.
it wasn't permanent, but
Yeah.
it was just like, it was the Marilyn Manson school of being obnoxious, and
Well-
I succeeded.
Well, Noah, I think that's a little bit of a feather in your cap. For your first performance, you blew someone's ears out.
Right,
You literally
and-
deafened someone.
Well, not permanently, but yeah, for a little bit, she was pissed. And I
She
was
couldn't
like-
listen to anything else after you. That's
I was
what
like,
it was.
it's fair, you had a similar effect on me, but not due to volume, more to pitch and intonation.
So we've all been playing birthday parties, and can we all
Right.
agree? I'm not. Fuck birthday parties. Like I don't want to play.
I don't know,
birthday.
that's where the
Fuck
money is.
birthdays.
Fuck up to
Yeah,
DIY.
fuck birthdays. We're anti-birthdays here on DIY.
Except for yours truly.
Yeah, except Carbia's. That's a holiday, everybody.
Not to mention-
So
I'm almost ready
Dori.
for crying out loud.
Oh, geez. So Dori, how about you? What are some of you've only been in it 2 years, so I'm sure they're a lot less fuzzy than maybe me and Noah's. What was some of your first performances like? What was it first like putting yourself out there?
It was a lot of fun. My first booked show was put on by the Pittsburgh Art House back in Pittsburgh.
Nice.
And Liz Victory actually played the show.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I performed New Year's Eve going into 2016. And I remember back at that time, I was so new on guitar. I've only been playing since I think March or something. So I still couldn't figure out how to hold a pick, and I would always break them or drop them. Yeah. So I didn't use a pick for the show, and we had an epic jam session in the kitchen afterwards, and it was a really, really awesome.
Well, it sounds like you had a supportive environment to sort of flower in, you know?
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
I was very, very fortunate when I was in Pittsburgh to be a part of Pittsburgh Art House. I actually lived there for several months, and just such a wonderful environment full of artistic people who just really want to build each other up. And especially as a female musician, it's a little bit intimidating to kind of break into the music scene. And there were female musicians there. There was Sarah Halter, especially Liz Victory. She really took me under her wing and made it a little bit less scary. And when I moved to Boston, I was a little bit hesitant because I had such a great environment there. I had such a great music community there, and I'm like, what am I doing? Leaving this is so good. But when I moved to Boston, it's just within a month, I just came upon another just wonderful music community.
So I think that's really awesome. But I want to ask you all one last quick question before we go to another video. So we're talking about solo performers. What are some of your all's favorite solo performers? We could start with you, Dori, if you got one off the top.
Absolutely. Jonah Matranga.
Okay.
He's out of San Francisco.
From One Line Drawing.
Yes, from One Line Drawing.
Important to mention that, yeah.
And from Far,
Nice.
And he was I actually was lucky enough I just played 2 shows with him here, and one was in Worcester and one was here at Kamikaze.
Nice.
But I just played with him a few weeks ago, and it was just absolutely incredible.
Really cool.
Definitely look up to him.
Yeah.
And absolutely.
Awesome. How about you know any solo performers that helped you? Marilyn Manson, maybe?
That's a band. That's not.
I know.
They shortened it from Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids because it was too long. So the band is Marilyn Manson, but it's also the guy.
Long band names are in now, though.
Yeah, but anyway, in answer to your question, I think Lou Bega.
Nice, solid. Into him. Cisco.
Come on. You're gonna take this seriously? You're on television. This is a golden opportunity.
It's internet television.
Oh, why am I even here? Calvin Johnson, Townes Van Zandt, Stephen Merritt, Kimmy Dawson, Adam Green, the Pope.
All solid influences right there.
Not really influences, just people, The guy at the mall who sells hot dogs.
He's a good guy.
He sucks.
He's always nice to me, man. He's always nice to me.
He's kind of mean, but he's
all-time favorite solo performer.
Stradivarius.
It's a solid answer. How about you? So Dan.
Well, yeah, but did you hear him play? No, you're young.
All right.
You don't even remember. That's the punk card you were mentioning.
Fair enough. Cred. There it is, the classical punk card. So Dan, how about you? You can top that?
Well, not really, but there's
not a contest.
Feels like it. There's a guy who I think was in Boston, now is in New York. His Hounds. Yeah. He does crazy electronic stuff.
Sweet. Yeah.
And he does all the stuff by himself.
That's cool.
Just,
does he use loops and stuff like that?
He does loops and stuff. He also it's a lot of I think he designs the software effect.
Oh, the loops and stuff like that's crazy. Yeah. I'm not smart enough for that. I'm not smart enough. I'm just let's do it live. Yeah. But either way, so I want to thank you guys all again for being here. We're gonna hang out some more. Got some more questions for you. For those of you watching on the YouTube stream, why don't you tell us in the chat box some of your favorite solo musicians? We'd love to hear about them. Chris O'Grady, you want to play us out of here? We'll be right back on DIY. We're playing a Sounded Out session right now. It's by Sydney Gish. Let's go to that.
Hi, I'm Sydney Gish. You're watching Sounded Out, and this is my song, Imposter Syndrome. Unfortunately, I am my own dog for companion, my own old lady on a forum who types in glittery decorum. Unfortunately, I take myself out walking every day, and I hand my legs to the feed, and I give my head to the leash. Every other day I'm wondering, what's a human being gotta be like? What's a way to just be competent? These sweet instincts ruin my life. Every other day I'm wondering, was it a mistake to try and define what I'm certain's mad incompetence? These sweet instincts ruin my life, but I can't smell well or tell the time. Not K through 8 nor K-9. For human, grossly underqualified. For K9, grossly overqualified. I don't blend in at PetSmart, and that truth holds true at the Walmart. 'Cause in either case they say to me, what the fuck is lost in aisle 3? Every other day I'm wondering, what's a human being gotta be like? What's a way to just be competent? These sweet instincts ruin my life. Every other day I'm wondering, was it a mistake to try and define what I'm certain's mad incompetence? These sweet instincts ruin my life. So just watch me moving far away, where nobody even knows my name, and no one suspects that I'm not fine, and nobody else behavioral Frankenstein. Just look at Victor in LA, Sid with the Y, State U of A, and all the majors at the labels, rebooting soon as I am able. Every other day I'm wondering, what's a human being gotta be like? What's a way to just be competent? These sweet instincts ruin my life. Every other day I'm wondering, was it a mistake to try and define what I'm certain's mad incompetence? These sweet instincts ruin my life.
It's time for DIY.
Hey everybody, welcome back to DIY the show. My name is Andrew Lowry. Hey everybody, welcome back to DIY the show. I fucked up as usual. My name is Andrew Lowry. I'm your stupid, ugly host. We're here on the show talking about solo musicianship. During the show, I got my buddy Carby always playing video games in the background today.
And then some.
What's up, dude? How you been?
I've been cynical, but I'm trying to get past it. Like
I love it. Same here, man. Same here. So last week we had you killing it on video games, destroying all of our guests.
Shout out to Sam Mulligan, by the way.
Shout out to Mulligan. We love you, buddy. So this week, you're playing some games. What are we playing right now?
Of course, the ever so elusive Super Star Wars.
There you go. We got the new movie coming out soon enough.
Last Jedi or something like
getting hyped.
Barely.
So we're talking about solo musicianship, but relating to video games, I had a question for you, Carbia. So I wanted to ask you, solo or co-op? What's better?
Totally the former. I mean, you always like figure things out mostly. Like even stuff you think is super difficult. Like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. And in this case, the lasers and the flamethrower. But
yeah,
I'll figure it out no matter what. But in the case of co-op, though, yeah, I mean, like
you're a lone wolf kind of guy.
Yeah. I mean, by now it should be obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, wolf over Rambo.
There you go. Yeah, you are a Rambo of the show.
But anyways, all that aside, though, like I'm just anything like non-gaming, though, you know, like I mean, as far as co-op, like it's always best to like figure stuff out. Like I mean, whenever like whenever you like, as long as you find like the right folks that like give a rat's ass, like no matter what your vision is.
They got to be up to your skill level, I'm sure, Carbia.
And then some.
Yeah, is that hard to find? I can assume.
To a degree, I mean, but other than that, though, like I'm like I said, solo's the way to go.
There you go, man. There you go. So, Carbia, thank you as always for hanging out, playing video games in the background. We'll check in with you a little later. We'll talk a little bit more. But I'm back here with my guests. How y'all doing? How we been hanging? We feeling good? Noah, you seem to be feeling great.
I asked before the break was over if I had time to take a crap, and everybody just laughed, so I assumed that meant yes. So I'm sorry, guys. It smells.
Yeah, it is bad in here. It is really...
Christ. Eric Cartman much?
On point. So, besides Noah's fecal matter, getting back into the questions. So, what is the sort of, Chris was saying it's kind of nicer when you have a full band and you could sort of share the burden. But I want to ask you, what's sort of better about being solo? Like, for me, the problem with being in a band and working on things with more than just yourself is sort of the same sort of accountability. You can't hold other people to the same accountability you hold yourself when it's your project. So it's really hard to sort of push people as hard as you want. Is that self-referential or what? I don't know. Whatever.
It might be.
So, yeah, a little bit. But either way, so for you all, what do you think is sort of some of the benefits of playing solo?
You hold on to your vision.
Yeah.
You don't really need to compromise with anybody if that's not your bag.
That's very true, and I think for some people, if you have the idea and you can build it right, and once you get it to the point, I think then you need some feedback. But you're totally right. It is sort of like there's no compromise.
Yeah, none.
And that's
It's
beautiful
like
sometimes.
yours.
Yeah, but just don't get lost in it, because you can become a Tolkien. Like Tolkien's a genius or whatever.
For sure.
How you know you got?
He died.
He did die.
I think Dan can speak.
What the hell? Lord of the Rings Arthur dead?
Dan can speak to this, which is the best thing about being in a solo project is no one else is mad at you.
Oh yeah.
Like Dan having had to play with me now 3 times ever.
I'm pissed.
So am I.
I'm not easy to work with because you see, I continue to not compromise even when I'm with other people.
Fair.
So it means
Same here.
either they do what I want or they're gone. And not like I fire them, but they just leave because they're like, I don't want to do it
I'm
your
out.
way.
Yeah.
And so that's a nice thing about being alone. It's kind of like, the difference between dating and masturbating. Like, they both have their good and bad points, but like when you're alone, like no one's pissed at how you're doing it.
That's how long it is.
I mean,
who gives a
sometimes
shit?
they're pissed at how you're doing it. Like if you're under the bleachers and you get caught, man, that's bad.
Is that a high school memory right there?
Middle school.
Holy crap.
I didn't get
pun
caught.
intended.
I'm just kidding. But the nice thing about music is it can be whatever you want, and then
That's
some
true.
other people come in and they want to make it what they want. You're like, I don't know. You do your own thing, Lou
That's
Vega.
very true. Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard to find that balance. For you, Dori, what do you find some of the benefits are of being solo?
I think it's nice to just really get on a stage and communicate something.
Yeah.
It's just you communicating a message or a feeling to whoever is there, whoever's listening.
Yeah.
So.
That's really cool. And I think, another thing that's great about being solo, like you're saying, you can be intimate and get out there to the audience. Being solo, you could do that 3 times in a night. I always like to compare stand-up to being a solo musician.
We're looking at you, Penny Oswin.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out to Penny. I think solo musicians should really sort of lean on the way comedy does stuff. Because if you can get 3 gigs in a night, that's 3 crowds of people you're getting to perform to. And if you're good enough where you create this intimate sort of this sort of stratosphere within your stage presence, you can create instant fans in a night. You at least leave the night with 10 people who are actually going to look you up later that day. Yeah. So I think that's pretty cool. Do you guys think there's anything that solo musicians do that's a mistake? Like something that you've seen before that maybe you're like, I don't like that. Or something you've done yourself. Something I've done is I did a lot of sing-along songs and crowd participation stuff. And I've run into situations where the crowd does not want to participate and is not interested at all. And so, and then I tried to double down. That was my issue. Not that I did the crowd participation, that I doubled down. I was like, oh, so you don't want to listen to me? And I get all like I did a bunch of songs about nerd stuff. Like I have a song about the X-Men and Godzilla and this and that. And then I was like, all right, well, this next song's about a video game, so you guys probably are going to hate it. It was like a bunch of jocks I was playing to. No hating on jocks, but they just weren't into what I was putting down. So, yeah, and I got and I got defensive and argumentative. So
Did you take the mic and like, you know the words?
you know,
And
yeah, I should have done that. No, exactly, just a strut around like that. But is there anything you guys see solo musicians do that is a mistake?
I think a lot of solo musicians forget to be good.
Fair, very true, very true.
True of bands as well, but solo's so much easier. Like literally anybody can do it anytime,
That's
and
true.
a lot of them shouldn't. You know?
Well, I kind of get what you're saying now, and I'm supportive DIY man, and anyone who wants to do it should do it and put themselves out there.
Right.
No shit,
like,
Sherlock.
Anyone who wants to make music, make it, just not publicly.
Fair.
But no, like sincerely, you brought up a really important tip, which
Yeah.
I learned years into my solo career, which is invite, don't attack.
Yeah.
If the audience isn't responding to you, don't force them by pushing down.
Yeah.
Force them by backing off and making them want to come.
Yeah.
But if you don't have any good songs, it's irrelevant, you know.
You got to play hard to get,
I'm not gonna
and you got to have something worth
That's one
them trying to
strategy.
get. You know, I've definitely had those moments where I've gotten. I am working on my anger, but I'm very impatient and I
be angrier.
Angrier, you're right. Yeah, I'm trying to go full
Working
Hulk.
on it.
I'm getting I want to get the greatest game.
Bruce Banner, move over.
Yeah,
Story
move
my
the
life.
fuck over, Bruce Banner. But so in getting my anger under control, I've learned to be less argumentative with an audience or less confrontational. You know, my first band out here was a big party band. There was like 12 of us. And so we were a posse and would sort of jerk each other off and inflate each other's ego. Not on the stage. All right, Dori. I saw your face, Dori. I'm sorry. We're getting raunchy here.
No, it's okay. I'm just trying not to laugh
He means
too
it
much.
figuratively.
Figuratively.
Oh, okay. That creates a much better image.
So we're
Thank
inflating each other's ego, but then when we get on stage
Figuratively.
and people wouldn't enjoy it, I'd be like, well, we're
Figuratively.
awesome. What the fuck are we missing here? Why
Right.
don't you think we're awesome? And
Right.
so I think
Dude,
that's
everybody
the
That's
thought Ford
because
was
your
awesome.
parents
Shut the
tell you
fuck
you're
up.
doing a good job, whatever you do.
fucking mom. Why'd you give me those trophies?
Mhm,
I
exactly.
participated. You should have pushed
Yep.
me in the mud, mom.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you
Can't
can't
ever
trust
pull
parents
myself
nowadays.
up by the bootstraps.
Always be better.
Yeah, being a solo musician, I think really takes a strong sense of self-identity. You know, I always talk about how confidence is 50% delusion, 50% complete self-realization.
And 10% math.
I'm not good at math. So when you combine those two, you're basically on one end showing how I'm the shit and I got myself and I'm on stage and I can handle myself. And on the other end, you're like, okay, well, if I'm up on stage and doing this, am I doing it good enough? Am I doing something that's worthwhile? Am I providing a situation that people enjoy?
Absolutely.
Or am I wasting everybody's time, you know? Do you guys have issues with confidence? Because I think we all do, right?
I think, I absolutely. And I think that it's part of the hardest part about a show isn't actually getting up there and performing your songs. It's about what happens before you get on stage. It's like, okay, well, who's here, and is this the right audience, or my songs are too dark and morbid for this place, and it's, you really have to work on it and just say, you know what, I was invited here, I was booked for a reason, and I'm just going to do what I do best. I'm not going to go too far off the beaten path. I'm going to do what I do, and 99% of the time, it works out beautifully.
Very cool. Yeah, I think you're very right about that. And reading the audience helps too once you start figuring that out.
For sure.
It's really cool.
Like, gotta telepath
But
their-
yeah,
their
so
thoughts.
we're still here talking on the show. We got a little bit more conversation in us. But we're going to go to another video. Right now, we have a good friend of ours, Sparks. He's located in Maryland. He does pop culture reviews for us. And what he does is he takes our topic and finds stuff out in the world that relates to that topic. So this week, we're talking about solo musicians. What Sparks is talking about is solo musicians who have broken off from a band. So someone who was originally in a band who was like, screw this, I'm too big for this shit, and skedaddled out. So he's going to show his list, and when we come back, we got a little bit more convo and a live performance later in the show. So Chris, you want to play us out of here? DIY the show!
DIY the motherfucking show!
Hi, this is Sparks' Pop Culture Corner. I'm back in my Alfred Hitchcock chair, and today we're talking about best solo artist. My pick for probably favorite solo artist that split off from a band anyway is probably Lou Reed, because he gave us masterpieces like, Street Hassle, which is just one of my favorite songs, especially from Squid and the Whale, because that's a great fucking movie. Not Morrissey, definitely not Morrissey. George Harrison was actually pretty good solo, stuff like My Sweet Lord and shit like that, and his soundtrack for Time Bandits. Basically any solo artist except Sting. Rod Stewart is also a good one. People forget he was with the Faces, who were great. You may know them from that song at the end of Rushmore, which is a classic. Ozzy Osbourne, who can forget Crazy Train, always good. Ben Folds, he's always a classic, especially with the best version of Bitches Ain't Shit. I don't care what anyone says, I really don't like The Chronic that much. Dr. Dre is my least favorite member of NWA. Ice Cube is always good solo. Speaking of solo artists who split off, Method Man, the RZA, the GZA, I think is the best of the Wu-Tang solo albums. Liquid Swords, that's always fucking good. The RZA, especially with his film scores for like Tarantino and stuff, that's always good. Definitely not Sting though. I will not take solo Sting. Fuck Fields of Gold. Fuck you if you like it. Anyway, this has been Sparks' Pop Culture Corner. Been here talking about solo artists. Thanks for your time.
It's time for DIY.
Hey everybody, welcome back to DIY the show. My name is Andrew F. Word Lowry. I'm here hanging out with you, been talking solo musicians with Noah, Dan, and Dori all day long. I've been loving it. But a friend of ours, he's the band booker on the show. He's an amazing human being. He runs a Bummer City Historical Society. He teaches children. He's molding brains. His name is James. Hey, everybody.
Michael the character.
Michael character. Hi.
You get us on.
James,
Bye-bye.
I wanted to give you a platform. Can we get a shot of the platform I have given James to speak on?
It's a literal platform.
Literal platform here I gave James to speak
That's
on.
the bit.
That's the whole bit. The whole bit. So we're talking about being a solo musician. Do I look real short next to James? Do I look cute? A little cute?
Christ.
Wow.
Step aside, Warwick Davis.
But so, James, I brought you on here to give us some advice because I think that, you're a teacher, you're a molder of minds, you're also just a really good person and a nice dude, and you've been playing solo music for a long, long time, and you do a lot of things right. So, you have some prepared statements. Do you have any advice for our solo musicians out there?
I just want to say, so, you'll find yourself at a show from time to time, and there'll be a solo performer. And somebody who might be a recording artist that does sort of bigger sound when they're recorded. And they'll hit a certain point in the song and maybe the last third or the last fourth of a song where they'll say, oh, well, there's a trumpet solo here. And you can't hear it because they're not here. But on the recording, if you believe it, there is a trumpet part. It's very good. And it's like this, and they sing it. Don't ever do that.
Great.
And here's the reason why. The first time you do that, which any time you're performing live, maybe somebody's never seen live music before, right? Maybe there's one or two people in the audience never seen a show. For those people, they're going to laugh, and that laugh will be genuine. It's a funny bit. Everybody else has seen that before, and their laughter is charitable laughter. Right? They don't. They just have to do it because it's sort of like a laugh track. Like, well, that's the punchline, so now I do the thing. Nobody enjoys that. It's not clever. It's not fun. It's not an innovative thing. It's sort of like if you, and not to make a Freebird reference, because but if you were like a person who yelled Freebird at a show unironically every time. Like that's sort of what it's like when you unironically say, "Oh, I'm gonna just sing this." No one wants to hear you sing the trumpet part. Don't do it. Just cut that section of the song out.
There you go.
All right.
There you go. James is ready, everybody.
Spare yourself.
So, James, you want to hop on the couch in the show with us here in the show on this? So yeah, you can find James on the internet. Michael Character, Bummer City Historical Society. He's been on the show. He's on our first ever episode. DIY the show. We keep it fast and loose here. But you're totally right, James. I like just just cut down the solo. Figure out a way to like remove that from when you play it live. Like, you know what I mean?
Trim the fat is right.
Trim the fat. So we're here on the show. I've been having a great conversation with all of you, including James now. So I like to end the show here with one last piece of advice. So there's a lot of solo musicians out there who might be tuning in, loving what they're seeing. And if you want to give them some advice, let's hear it. You guys are all getting red over here. So we'll start with Dori. So Dori, right at the end there, why don't you give us one last piece of advice you'd give a starting out solo musician?
I would say just keep working at it, and just say that it's definitely it seems like, oh, I'm a solo musician and it's all me and I'm a one-man crew, and it really isn't. Being a solo musician is nothing if you don't have connections, if you don't have mentors, if you don't have people teaching you tips and tricks on the guitar or helping you book a show.
Or any instrument.
Or any instrument, yes, thank you. So really just tap into that and build on your relationships, because that's what makes being a solo artist
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I've been playing music for well over 10 years now, and every person I've ever met, I remember, or at least half remember.
Yep.
You remember their face, maybe not what they did or whatever, but you know. Mm-hmm. I'm showing all my cards, guys. I'm sorry. But so, you know, I mean, but when you remember people, that's what this show has always been for me, is like remembering those people I've worked with in the past who I've been like, well, let's all talk again about this. So
yeah.
it's we talk about doing it yourself, but it's really doing it together, you
Absolutely.
know? So James, you're fresh on the couch. You've been watching in the wings. What would you say is a good piece of advice besides the great piece of advice you just dropped on us?
I think the main one I could say is do as much as you possibly can as early as possible. For the reason that if you, I mean, when I started off, I think the first about 4 years I was making music, it was garbage.
Yeah.
Horrendous. It was terrible.
Is it different now?
Well, it's ever so slightly.
Okay.
Actually, no. But a larger portion of people, don't.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. Well, I know. I think you were probably still in the. But if you start off playing shows and your own expectation of yourself at the early stages, I made a song and I'm just like then it's, get that out of the way early, because I think people who play a lot in their bedroom and then try and break out later on, start playing shows, they struggle because they're so overcritical. You know, when I first started playing, I was just so excited I could play and sing at the same time. I was so proud of myself, and thank God I got that out of the way when I was 19, because now, you know, I would never leave my house.
And I think what you're saying too is, you know, I was bringing up stand-up earlier, so you could play a couple shows a night, but I also think try bits on stage. You know, like I wrote a new version for the chorus of this song. Try that on stage. You know, experiment. Don't be afraid. Don't be too critical and lock yourself in this practice bubble. I've seen that with bands where you spend too much in the garage or the basement or wherever your practice space is, and you're not allowing yourself a chance to fail. You know, and so I think that's real important. Noah, I bet you got something good, man.
Thanks. I mean, you know, these are both great pieces of advice. I agree with both these things. I want to echo them. The only thing I have to add, really, as far as advice for solo acts specifically, is don't murder anybody.
I can see
under any circumstance.
It hurts your career, you know. But
are there any famous musician? Well, there's Charles Manson, I guess. He was in a band, right?
Quite famous.
He was a solo artist.
Yeah, solo artist.
Yeah. No, there's a ton of musicians who murdered people. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, I was kind of guessing. Yeah, that's another episode of the show.
Are you familiar with gangster rap? It's a genre based on murdering people.
That's fair. That is, yeah, for the most part.
Sometimes they kill them.
There you go.
Killer hype men.
Die men.
Die man. There you go. That's what, you know. We need a die man on this show. Okay, Josh, can we make that happen? We get a murder man.
I heard they're forever once you get them.
Yeah, they're definitely forever.
Go ahead.
Death is permanent.
No,
Dan,
diamonds are forever.
Death is permanent. Dan, how about you? One last piece of advice.
Just be yourself.
There it is. Do you, right?
Yeah.
Do you.
Pick your right path, man.
Pick your right path. Carbia, you got anything you got to say? Any questions you want to ask these homies?
As long as I'm keeping this brief here.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see here. My mind can wander, but here goes nothing. Let's see. Like no matter what you set your mind to, I mean, not just music, but just any other field, like whether it's martial arts or acting. I don't know. As Cameron mentioned earlier, I don't know. Just surround yourself with the right folks, the right connections, and of course, your true art will flourish, and then
Very
some.
cool. Yeah. That's awesome, Carbia. Thank you, buddy. Yeah,
And research often.
And research often. That's true. Carbia is literally an encyclopedia. And I swear to God, he knows more than I will ever know. And I think that makes him more powerful than me. And I think one day Carbia will usurp me as the host of this show.
Literally an encyclopedia.
He's literally just a book with
a controller on top.
With a controller on top, yeah. That's why we love him here. I've been having such a great time hanging out with everyone today. I'm so glad we all got to hang out. Noah and Dan, you guys are going to perform for us in a few moments. So we have a music video for it. No, don't get up yet, just Noah, okay? Not yet. But we got a music video for everybody. This featured music video today is by the band Secret Spirit, and the song is called Motherfucker. So we're gonna watch this music video. When we got back, we got a live performance from Request Freebird. So Chris, strum that gitbox. DIY is back.
Judgments to a minimum.
We want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do. Yeah. We want to get loaded. Yeah. And we want to have a good time. And that's what we're going to do.
It's time for DIY. All right. Holy shit, we're here back on DIY the show. As always, my name is Andrew fucking Lowry. I'm your beautiful host, and at the end of the show, I usually like to talk about what I learned. So we're talking about being a solo musician today, and what I want to talk about is when you're being a solo musician, not only are you performing alone, you're your own rock. You have to learn this sort of inner strength. You have to find this inner power within yourself to sort of keep continuously putting yourself out there. You think every week, I'm not tired. You know, it's snowing. I could have stayed in and drank some hot cocoa. I would have loved to do that. But, you know, I love doing the show, and I love giving it to you guys. So I keep working at it, and I keep doing it because it makes me feel whole, right? Carby is the same. But all of you out there who are trying something yourself, who are trying to build something new, who are trying to just DIY the fuck out of life, what I got to say to you is just keep on trying, You are beautiful, you are amazing, and you have the strength within you to do it. Behind me, I got Request Freebird. I want to thank Dori. I want to thank James. I want to thank Carbia, Chris, the whole crew for being here, hanging out with us. Oscar's here. You didn't see him, but he's here, and I appreciate him. But Dan and Noah here. I want them to play some songs for us. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome you all. Request Freebird, everybody. Let's hear it loud and clear. Let's hear it. Yeah!
Ready?
Yes.
I don't wanna ever stop singing loud. I don't wanna ever stop singing loud. The neighbors may hate the noise, but I can't hold back my voice. I don't wanna ever stop singing loud. I don't wanna ever stop singing loud. You may not like our set, but I'm not gonna stop singing yet. I don't wanna ever stop singing loud. I don't wanna ever stop singing loud. One day I'll be 6 feet in the ground, but until then I'm in love with the sound. I don't wanna ever stop singing loud. Everybody ready? We don't wanna ever stop singing loud. One more time, don't be shy. We don't wanna ever stop singing loud. Again, don't be ashamed. Loud. We don't wanna ever stop singing loud. Keep going, you at home too. We don't wanna ever stop singing loud.
Yeah. All right, let's hear it again, everybody, for Request Freebird. Request Freebird, everybody. Let's hear it nice and loud. Noah, Dan, thank you. I love your gloves. Thank you, Dan. Thank you guys so much. So this has been DIY, the flippin' show. This has been a great episode. I've had so much fun hanging out with all of you. If my guests want to come up, everybody want to come up on stage? Everybody. So, Oscar, you want to come up too? You're more than welcome. So, DIY, the show, is a show we talk about DIY ethics, morals, and try to relate them back to your real, actual life. So, we're here on the show talking about solo musicians. I hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Dori. Thank you to James. Thank you to everybody else. Thank you to Carbia. Thank you to Oscar. Next week, we're doing our holiday episode. So, if you want to come be a part of it, come on down. We love you. You guys want to sing DIY? It's time for DIY. All right. Goodbye. Bye.
I'll start time.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, you can.